Good evening, and welcome to Twilight Dance. Tonight's story explores an ancient mystery, one that has been passed down through time. So settle in, relax, and let the story carry you into a quiet and restful night.
Good evening, and welcome. Tonight we explore one of the most enduring and mysterious legends ever told, the Loch Ness Monster. Deep within the Scottish Highlands lies Loch Ness, a vast and quiet body of water surrounded by rolling hills, dark forests, and an atmosphere that often feels still and untouched. The surface of the loch can appear calm, reflecting the sky above, but beneath it lies a depth that remains largely unexplored. It is this combination of beauty and uncertainty that has made Loch Ness the perfect setting for a story that has lasted for generations. The earliest known account of a creature in the loch dates back many centuries. In one of the oldest stories, a figure described encountering a large animal moving through the water, something powerful and unfamiliar. The details were brief, but the idea that something unusual lived within the loch began to take shape. Over time, these early accounts were passed down through generations, slowly becoming part of the identity of the region itself. What started as a single story grew into a legend that would continue to evolve over centuries. As more people lived near the loch and traveled through the surrounding area, additional sightings began to appear. Witnesses described seeing movement in the water, sometimes just below the surface, sometimes breaking through it for only a moment before disappearing again. Many accounts mentioned a long neck, a large body, and a slow, deliberate motion that seemed almost calm. While no two descriptions were exactly the same, they shared enough similarities to create a consistent image. What makes these sightings particularly interesting is how they often occurred under similar conditions. The water would be calm, the surroundings quiet, and the moment itself would feel almost still. In these conditions, even the smallest movement could stand out. A ripple could become something larger, a shadow could take on shape, and something distant could appear much closer than it truly was. Despite this, the consistency of the descriptions kept the idea alive, suggesting that there might be more to the story than simple misinterpretation. As the years passed, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster became more widely known. Stories spread beyond the Highlands, reaching people who had never seen the loch for themselves. With each retelling, the image of the creature became clearer. It was no longer just an unknown presence in the water, but something with form, something that could be imagined in detail. This shift from vague description to recognizable figure played a major role in keeping the legend alive. The mystery deepened as technology began to play a role in documenting sightings. In the 20th century, photographs and reports brought new attention to Loch Ness. One of the most well-known images appeared to show a long neck rising from the water, creating a lasting impression that would shape how people imagined the creature for decades. Even though later analysis suggested that some of these images may not have been entirely accurate, their impact remained. They gave people something to see, something to connect to the stories that had been told for generations. This visual connection transformed the legend. It was no longer just a story passed down through words, but something that seemed almost within reach of proof. People from around the world became interested in the mystery, drawn by the possibility that something unknown might still exist beneath the surface of the loch. This attention brought more visitors, more sightings, and more stories, each adding to the growing legend. At the same time, researchers and scientists began to explore the loch more carefully. Using sonar and other tools, they attempted to understand what lay beneath the surface. These studies revealed just how vast and complex the underwater landscape truly is. The loch contains deep trenches, hidden formations, and areas that are difficult to fully map. This complexity makes it possible for movement to go unnoticed, adding another layer to the mystery. Despite these efforts, no definitive evidence of a large unknown creature has ever been confirmed. Yet the absence of proof has not ended the story. Instead, it has allowed the mystery to continue. The unknown space beneath the water leaves room for imagination, and that space is often enough to keep a legend alive. Another reason the legend of the Loch Ness Monster has endured is the natural appearance of the loch itself. The water is often dark, reflecting very little light, making it difficult to see beneath the surface. Changes in weather, movement in the water, and shifting light can all create shapes and patterns that appear unusual at first glance. A wave can rise in a way that feels intentional, floating debris can resemble something larger, and even known animals can appear unfamiliar when viewed from a distance. These natural explanations offer possible answers, yet they do not fully replace the mystery. For many people, the idea that something unknown could exist is more compelling than a simple explanation. This balance between logic and imagination is part of what makes the story so lasting. It allows people to consider both possibilities at the same time, without needing a final answer. The Loch Ness Monster has also become deeply connected to the culture of the region. It appears in stories, artwork, and local traditions, becoming a symbol of the area itself. Visitors travel from around the world to see the loch, drawn by the legend and the atmosphere that surrounds it. While many come with curiosity rather than belief, the experience of standing near the water often changes their perspective. There is something about the quiet surface of the loch, the way the hills surround it, and the stillness of the environment that makes the idea of the creature feel possible. Looking out across the water, it is easy to imagine something moving beneath, just out of sight. This feeling, more than any piece of evidence, is what keeps the story alive. In modern times, the legend continues to evolve. Advances in technology have made it easier to explore the natural world, yet the mystery of Loch Ness remains. Some believe the creature does not exist, viewing the sightings as a combination of natural phenomena and human interpretation. Others remain open to the possibility, seeing the lack of proof as part of the mystery itself. What makes this story unique is that it does not rely on a single moment or piece of evidence. Instead, it exists through a collection of experiences, observations, and shared curiosity. Each sighting, whether clear or uncertain, adds to the overall picture. This allows the legend to continue, even as understanding of the world improves. The Loch Ness Monster has become more than just a creature. It represents the idea that not everything needs to be fully explained. It reminds us that even in a world where much has been discovered, there are still places that feel untouched, still questions that do not have clear answers. This sense of mystery is something that continues to draw people in, generation after generation. As you begin to rest and allow your thoughts to slow, imagine the quiet surface of Loch Ness at night. The water still, the air calm, and the surrounding landscape fading into darkness. Beneath that surface lies a depth that has never been fully explored, a space where imagination and reality seem to meet. Whether the Loch Ness Monster is real or not, the story itself has endured for a reason. It represents curiosity, mystery, and the possibility that something unknown might still exist in the world. And as the night settles in, that idea can remain, quiet and distant, just beyond what can be clearly seen. Thank you for listening tonight, and may your rest be peaceful until we meet again here in Twilight Dance.
Thank you for listening tonight. If you enjoyed this story, there are many more waiting for you here on Twilight Dance. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next one.